Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to begin by saying Barakatah, Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and salutations to the sincere Akiam that push this truth with all due diligence and sincerity, man. It's the brother of Allah coming at you with another sit down, just on the fact that we are in a time of war, bro. You know, the scripture speaks about a time for every season, a time of war, a time of peace, a time to be born, a time to die, etc. We are undisputedly in a time of war, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, where ultimately all these nations are gathering themselves for World War III. Yeah, I said that like Trump when he was speaking to Zelensky. You're playing with World War III. Yeah, but listen, that's the time that we're in right now. Xi Jinping, the leader of North Korea, and Putin linked up, man. They connected over there in the east, and they basically gave a mighty powerful demonstration of their military power, mainly through China, the land of Moab, sending a message over to Babylon. And when Putin and Trump met, I think they met in one of the either Alaska or one of those types of regions, one of those neutral regions. Trump basically flew bombers over the head of Putin with fighter jets, again, just to send a message. These different powers, man, the West and the East, man, are flexing their military might that they're going to use because the third will cometh quickly, as the scripture says. Yeah, but I just want to quickly play this video of China demonstrating their military might, where the three leaders in the East of Russia, China, and North Korea, met, because they're going to be allies onto each other, man, pursuant to the book of Ezekiel, with Russia leading the charge.
If coordination, precision, and pageantry are what wins wars, then there's no question that China is one of the world's most formidable forces. There was not a step out of place or an exaggerated turn of the head off cue in this biggest of Beijing's military parades. But just as captivating for the audience in Tiananmen Square was seeing the historic union of Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and Kim Jong-un. This was the first time the Russian president and North Korean leader have appeared together with Xi, and it looked like they couldn't be happier in one another's company. A defining image of the ages, one of defiance and deliberate timing from the Chinese president. In his speech to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, Xi spoke.
And you can find the video on ITV News. Brothers in the States would have seen it on their relevant channels also. But basically, China, Russia, and North Korea, man, Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin have linked up and connected, man. And ultimately, they're sending the message over to the West of unification on their side of the world, man. And the fact that if you fuck with them collectively, they're gonna fuck with you. The book of Revelations, the 11th chapter and the 14th verse. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. The word woe means destruction. And what that's talking about is the third world war, man, that we're about to enter into, which is going to be a nuclear one, might I add. Because old warfare was fought, with swords, clanging the swords, metal hitting metal, sharp metal piercing armor, skilled fighting, a bit of archery, maybe some cannonballs being launched. Then it went into guns and trench warfare, World War One and Two, and that, and bombers and all the rest of it. Now you're talking thermal nuclear destruction, and man being hundreds of thousands of miles away and literally pressing a button and ending the lives of mass casualties, including civilians. That's the time that we're living in right now, man. Be afraid, be very afraid, but know that Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai is going to deliver the elect, man, out of this madness. The third woe is coming, man, and it's prophesied to happen. It will occur, man. It's just got to happen, man, because ultimately speaking, through the midst of this third world war, it's how Yahweh Shai is going to appear in the midst of all of them, pursuing to second Esdras the 13th chapter and deliver his elect, man. But this will be host the chip being rolled out. But trust and believe, when that next stage of this plan goes into order, everything is going to move seemingly in lightning speed. You think the days are flying by now? You just wait, wait until that appointed time when Yahweh Shai starts to really amp things up, because you see, all of those nations over there in the east, yeah, of course they got infantry, they've got navy and that, and they're gonna send them in, of course, because those are just the pawns allocated to die. They're just gonna be the simpletons that really fought fighting for their country. And this Third World War is a smart idea. They're not gonna come back. And the Valley of Yahweh Shaphat, where the Lord's gonna gather all these nations, they're gonna come back in body bags, man. If they even come back, and most of them will be melted through the nuclear fire. But or the chariots. But ultimately, what the Lord is setting up, man, is the play and the chess pieces for this Third World War. Isaiah the 54th chapter, and I'm going to start from verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. The Lord has given Esau Edom the understanding of how to split an atom for destruction, man. And he's used that to create armory of nuclear weapons. There's some here in the UK. There's hundreds of thousands in the US warheads. There's large quantities in Russia. China's got some, and they're continuing to develop more. North Korea's got some. India, Pakistan, and listen, this Third World War ultimately is going to be the war to end all wars, man. Like, there's a saying out there, like, World War IV, even though there ain't going to be one, but the next World War, we fought with sticks and stones, man. Listen, after this, there ain't going to be no more war, because the Lord's going to put his elect in power, and Israel's going to make sure, ultimately, man, that there's peace upon the earth, because we're going to follow the laws and be under his jurisdiction perpetually. But literally, man, this is going to be the war to end everything, and the Lord has given Esau Edom that power, and he's basically fermented it, perfected it, and now the other nations are replicating it also, man. And every year, these nations are on an arms race to empower their nuclear armories, to improve them, because they know what's coming, man. But I'll read this again, verse Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. The Lord has given Esau Edom the understanding of the splitting of the atom, and I have created the waster to destroy. What is the waster? The nuclear missiles, man. However, in regards to the elect, no weapon that's formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment shall thou condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. So the Lord is the one that gives us that power, man, to be able to ultimately trample down our enemies, you see. But these other two nations and 2/3, they're fucked. This World War III is not going to be so bad. If you're on the shores of America, you're charcoal. Anyone on the shores of America, other than the elect, that are going to be delivered is literally just walking charcoal for the fire. The Lord is going to draw Russia into this war with Babylon, and accompanying Magog, aka Russia, it's going to be China, Moab, and also North Korea, man, who basically, they're around about the same people, those Mongoloid type individuals. Get straight to the point. Ezekiel 38 and 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog. Now, these used to be lands filled with Japhites, but those Japhites got moved out of there. The Russians, they are former Edomites, man. It's Edomite against Edomite crime we're about to witness, and you're gonna have some Moab and and Ishmael in there, and Elam and that, but it's gonna be mainly Edomite and Edomite crime with America and Russia. Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog. So although we're speaking about the land of Magog, which was originally inhabited by Japhet, they're no longer there. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So the Lord's against the land of Russia, man. But he's going to use them to destroy America. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses, and horsemen. You see what's going on there? And Moab's going to get involved as well. Russia's on the same type of energy. But you see, they had their army, their horses, and their horsemen, their modern-day soldiers, their tanks, and their jeeps, and the jets, and everything on display. These nations are in a galvanized state of war, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. The Iranians are going to be on the side of Russia. They've got their nuclear capabilities hidden somewhere. Goma and all his bands, the House of Tagama and of the North Quarters and all his bands, and many people with the. You see, America was saying, no, we can't let Iran get nuclear weapons and blah 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 blah. They're trying to move the sovereigns of the earth, which is a right reserved unto Israel anyway. So when we're in power, these nations ain't gonna be enriching uranium and thinking about bombing us. But anyway. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all that company that are assembled unto thee. The Lord talking through Ezekiel to Magog, Russia, and be thou a guard unto them. Russia's going to lead the charge. Yeah, Russia's going to lead the charge. Yeah, understand that the time that we're in, man, it has been prophesied about by ancient prophets, whether it be Ezekiel, Jeremiah, John the Revelator, thousands of years later. Yahweh Shai prophesied about it when he was on the earth. Like, from the beginning, man, the Lord has had his intent to use America as the final kingdom, man, and lead him into war against Magog and a number of her allies, man, to melt everyone that's on that land. And of course, there's going to be blows sent back into Russia and Europe and the Middle East, and even some of America's allies are going to turn against her. But this war is going to be bloody, man. It's going to be absolutely bloody. And in the midst of it all, pursuant to Isaiah 66 chapter, 15th verse, and scriptures of that sort, the Lord's going to come back with fire of his own, man. Because his intention, pursuant to Luke, is for the fire to be kindled before he even arrives. But woe, man, unto the earth and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. War, man, world war is what we're on the precipice of. That's why it's important to know what time you're living in, man. We could make this lesson longer, go into other scriptures, but the point has been made, man. China's preparing its armaments. North Korea's joined onto them. Russia's been ready. America's got their fighter jets on hand. NATO is being pressured by America into increasing their military expenditure. Shit is getting real, man. Know that we're at the door, and this is not the time to be fucking around. Get spiritual, get right with your heart, Hashem Yahushua, and Lord willing, man, may the Lord have mercy upon us and our households, and your heart, Hashem Yahushua, may we be delivered, because I'm telling you, man, if not for the Lord delivering us, man, this meat grinder that's about to come up on the face of the planet Earth, the conscriptions for people to just literally go out over there and get melted. The Lord said he's going to gather all nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat, man, and there he's going to melt them. Yo, scary times, man. Fear the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. That's all I'm going to say. Shalom.